This show's so fucking good, I'm gonna throw up. It's actually too good. Like, literally set the bar that's just impossible to top now for Star Wars. For Disney Plus, period. Let's just cut the bullshit, get it out of the way.
This is the best Star Wars content.
Best show on Disney Plus. And not just that, I think, honestly, it's the best Star Wars thing, period. Like, trilogy, like, fuck the old trilogy. This is, like, blows it out of the water.
Yeah. You gotta wake the fuck up, Dan. You've been sleeping.
Marvin, we're gonna have fucking...
Fight the Empire!
We're going to have angry Star Wars nerds fucking knocking on our doors in Death Trooper costumes, but...
Well, I'm ready.
Yeah, bring them on. I'm ready.
That marching and chanting had me pumped up. I was about ready to go protest the Empire in the fucking streets of Vegas.
I was about to throw bricks at my fucking computer and shit. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Insurrection time.
Fight the Empire!
Is this how Trump supporters felt when they were storming the Capitol? Nah, I kind of understand. I get it now.
Yeah, dude, you think they stormed the first time? Wait till they watch this shit. Oh my God. They're going to think, they think this show's about vaccines. I gotta touch on Dusty for a second. Now, you've been back and forth on this show. I'm sure
it's a roller coaster of a show for me, but it's a good show.
I'm sure in your quest to wipe the scourge of ambiguity out of existence, I'm thinking you maybe didn't really like this finale all that much.
Whoa.
No, I did. I actually thought it was clever.
I was thinking that because you like to have things answered for you. It's been a going theme with, Black Panther and, this and certain horror movies we've watched. I love the fact that this episode, this finale, didn't answer any of the things that the three of us have been speculating on throughout the course of the series. More recently, Dusty and I, while you were away, Marvin, I don't know if you watched our previous episodes because you weren't caught up on the show, but there were rumors circulating that Luthen was a fucking Jedi. Dusty and I were speculating that we'd find some shit out about his sister. None of it was answered, and I loved it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Okay, I'm glad.
Like I said, so the format of the show was interesting. They would do 3-episode stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what they did. The first one was a little slow for me, but it was good. The second one was good, where they did the robbery. Third one was all right. This one, I don't know. I didn't really like the prison. It wasn't an effectual prison escape story for me. It wasn't the greatest. It was okay, but leading up to the spark is what I've been waiting for the whole fucking time.
Oh boy, did
for
it
the
spark.
show. So, and it did, and they did it in a very good way. The way they did the marching band, the music was phenomenal. The speech, it was riveting. This was a great episode. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought that band was shit, but they were just warming up.
And
I thought this funeral was about to have the worst performance ever.
Well, that's been the theme of the show the whole time.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but the theme song of the intro to the show the whole time has been their fucking.
It was just an instrument playing a chord, and then it was another one, and then it was another one, and they slowly were adding instruments to it, like a band was warming up.
So
and then
fucking
in the final
brilliant
episode, we have a band warming up, getting ready to play the march. It was
when I realized that.
I
was watching, and I was just like my ear, it caught my ear, and I was like, wait a second, and then I realized it. I got chills. It was so fucking well done.
Yeah.
Again, none of the stuff that you would normally expect in a show or a movie to get answered ever got answered. The show opened, the season opened with the little hint of like what happened to him as a kid and where his sister is, and that he's looking for his sister. Didn't get answered.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be frustrated
never
though.
simply find his sister.
If they don't explore that in season 2 and he just dies, I'm gonna be mad.
Hold up, they're not gonna explain it. If they were going to, because season 2 is going to have
not necessarily fully explain it, but explore it more. Like,
bless you. Well, here's the thing, right? And I said this to you a couple episodes back. I don't think they need to explore it because everything that they every little breadcrumb that they threw at us was merely a vehicle to deliver Cassian to the point he needed to be to become the hero of the rebellion. For us, as an audience, it would be certainly interesting to see those things get answered, but it's not important to his character. Or, I mean, it is, but not in the way that, you know, you would expect it to typically be done with an explanation, right? So I don't know. I really love that. Maybe they'll explore it in season 2, but I doubt it.
No.
I know you hate that shit. I know. You need answers.
You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna do a spinoff about that whole.
I could see them milking the shit out of it like that.
Like Andor as a kid, what happened to his sister?
Good, milk it. I'm watching it.
Yeah, at first I was confused why we're getting a second season. Give me a second season, please, Lord.
When Cass starts listening to Nemik's manifesto, you know shit is about to get real.
Dude, I cried. From that moment towards the end of the show, I was crying the whole time. Not even lying.
Yeah.
Not like weeping like I would in like a Marvel thing, but like I was misty. I had a choke in my throat. I was getting a little fucked up. That just goes to show how great of a fucking show this is in terms of writing. Even with all that stuff we just talked about not getting fleshed out and knowing the outcome of Cassian's journey, everything's still incredibly compelling. Like not many things could pull that off of like, hey, this guy's gonna die, but like it's still, we're on like the fucking edge of our seat, like seeing what's gonna happen. But yeah, so this episode, the finale, Rix Road, is all about rebellion, and there's a lot of stuff that
it's all about the road.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff that they introduced in the beginning of the series that came full circle in this episode that we'll touch on in a bit. But throughout this whole episode, I was reminded of a quote from Immanuel Kant, who was like this like philosopher dude. And the quote is, you probably heard it before: the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing.
To do nothing. Yep.
And that is Cassian's journey. We knew it about him, seeing the end of his story. He just didn't know it about himself. His mother knew it about him. His friends knew it about him. Everybody knew it about him but this motherfucker. Even fucking Luthen knew it about him, because you get that little like fucking cheeky smile at the end of like, I knew you'd come around, bro.
Yeah.
This show opens up. Ferrix is fucking just completely overrun now with Imperial troops and lightning and storms and all sorts of evil shit going on.
Fuck them.
And they're preparing us for the battle to come that we knew was going to come. That's the one thing we did speculate on that I guess we nailed. But I mean, it was fairly obvious that all these parties would converge at this funeral. The one thing
the whole fucking cast was on Ferrix besides Mon Mothma.
Yeah, and Mon Mothma, dealing with her own shit, she fucking gaslit the shit out of her husband to get herself out of a jam. I thought that was fucking dope.
That was funny.
Yeah, apparently he has some gambling troubles in his past, and
used to, yeah.
And she fucking sees him, and she's like, "You're gambling again, aren't you?" He's like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about."
She used it to her will to get out of a jam, yeah.
Well, because she knew this whole series that her driver was a spy.
Exactly.
So she pretended to let her guard down and become vulnerable. Yep. And use that conversation, because we see later on in the episode, this fucking spying sack of shit is reporting back saying like, oh, well, that would explain where all the monies went. So not only does it confirm that the Empire is suspicious of her vast amounts of funds just fucking flying out the door, but this gave them an explanation for it at the expense of her shithead husband. The one thing that I was surprised about, though, is that she, by the end of the episode, turned her daughter over to the arranged marriage situation with the gangster. You know, we were discussing it a while back when she first had that meeting with him. What was it, like an episode or two ago?
Yeah.
And we were just talking about like, oh, maybe she'll make like one last stand to like retain her family. And, you know, obviously she's going to have to run away at some point and like officially join the rebellion, because, you know, we know her from being the leader of the rebellion and all that good stuff. But I had said, like, you know, her daughter's already like kind of gone. Like, she doesn't have a relationship with her daughter.
She had a very estranged relationship with her family. Yep. She didn't like her husband. She didn't like her husband's friends.
No, she doesn't like her husband. She doesn't like her.
Yeah, there was some resentment there, but she definitely didn't like her friends. And her daughter is, you know, at that age where they want to go off and do their own thing anyway. So there's that distance, and she got into the whole religion of the arranged marriage. So,
well, it turned out it was more important than I had thought initially when they first showed it. Her daughter at that fucking weird religious, like cult-like meeting with like
when they were doing the seance.
It wasn't really a seance. It was like their
That shit
cultural.
was very cult-like.
Well, it was their cultural
is.
thing that Mon Mothma had said, like, she didn't really like, she didn't care for, because she was a victim of it, and that's why she was
Right.
in this arranged marriage. But when she talked to Vel about that group that her daughter was with, she was like, you know, she's adhering to the old ways, kind of, or whatever. But I think Mon Mothma realizes, like, she's gone. Like, I'm not going to be able to, like, win her over. So, like,
Yeah.
fuck her, let her just,
So
excuse me.
might as well use her
Yeah. I
to
mean,
her advantage.
yeah, and that, you know, as we had pointed out at one point, all the characters in this story all have their own unique sacrifices for the rebellion. And this is hers, is that, like, she's giving up her family, her daughter. Like, you know, that's not something that comes lightly, I'm sure. Let's talk about your boy Nemec, Dusty. Cassian finally got in touch
Queued
with...
up the tape.
Queued up the fucking manifesto, which I didn't know was a tape. I actually thought it was a book. But a lot of really, really deep and insightful stuff. Very moving stuff, as I said, got me a little choked up.
The Imperial need for control is so desperate because it is so unnatural. Tyranny requires constant effort. It breaks. It leaks. Authority is brittle. Oppression is the mask of fear. Remember that.
It speaks to all the things that we've talked about throughout this series of, like, the hubris of the Empire, that they are so bloated and so overreaching that there are cracks and leaks and breaks, allowing for things like Aldhani and allowing for things like the prison break and all this stuff, ultimately leading to their demise. Fuck you, J.J. Abrams, for ruining all that bullshit. So... But oppression is the mask of fear. Like, that's literally the truth. That's what it is. Yeah. It's authority fears losing its power, losing its control over people. So it rules with fear, just like Palpatine's, and, you know, Palpatine's goal was to rule with fear. It's the whole point of why the Death Star is being created, as our boy Grand Moff Tarkin once said.
Fear will keep the local systems in line.
You know, and then Nemec finishes off his thing with one single thing will break the siege. The siege of tyranny, that is. And that's exactly what happened. And thanks to Cassian and the rest of Rogue One, like, that was the breaking point, and that turned the tides of this rule. Show jumps around a little bit, trying to tie up some loose ends. It does jump to several times. It goes to the ISB, but the most important part of it was finally letting us know about the Anto Krieger setup, which another thing. This show for 2 episodes,
Sacrifice.
Yeah. And this show set that up to be seen and fleshed out, but we just hear about it. And as Luthen planned, Anto Krieger and his men got fucking blasted, and they're all gone. They're dead. What was interesting, though, and your girl, Marvin, she was pissed because Dedra, she's like, why the fuck, why wasn't I notified? This, like, why'd they all die? We needed one of them. We needed information. And the dude of the ISB guy was like, nope, we needed to wipe the taste of Aldhani from the Emperor's mouth.
They just needed a win, one win.
Yeah, but it wasn't even for why you would think. It wasn't. It was just because they wanted to fucking either impress or they were afraid of the Emperor. It was basically to prove, like, no, we got this shit. Don't worry, dude.
Everything's under control.
Yeah, don't be force lightning the shit out of us.
Through fear.
Yeah. But then we get to the bulk and meat of the episode, which is, again, everybody coming together on Ferrix for Marva's funeral. And goddamn, what a fucking powerful sequence. This whole thing, this whole, like, last act of this episode. Crazy. Unbelievable. Yeah. You got the band coming together, marching through the streets, meeting in the city square, carrying her brick. How fucking dope is it?
Brick.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a brick because they built it into a wall.
Yeah.
So how fucking sick is it that, like, they literally become the foundational elements of the place that they live and love so much. And again, that's what I really loved about this show, is that it's not even about, while it is about, like, the overall galactic civil war, this is really Ferrix's story at the end of the day, because it's the story about how just one place got the spark and the inspiration to have their own little rebellion. And as Marva said in her message, you have all these little rebellions cropping up all over the place, eventually coalescing into one big one. So, and Marva's message for Cassian, we hear from his boy at one point. None of this is his fault. He was already burning. He's just the first spark of the fire. He knows everything he needs to know. and feels everything he needs to feel. And when the day comes, when those two things pull together, he will be an unstoppable force for good. And she knew. She knew all along.
That's why she sent him away.
So fucking good. Yeah.
When Bix was humming, when the band was marching, I was about to tear up like you, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
They did her so dirty. I'm glad she got out alive, even though her brain is like scrambled eggs right now.
Well, what was so impactful about her humming is that even despite her fucking scrambled egg brain and the fact that she was broken and beaten, she still mustered up the energy to have that, like, I don't know, I guess what would you call patriotism, I guess. What's his name? My little boy, the droid, B3 or BE3 or whatever his name is. Best droid in Star Wars, hands down.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Has emotion. He's not like part of like this grander fucking thing like R2 was or C-3PO. Has nothing to do with like the Civil War. He's just a little fucking droid that loves his family. Oh my God.
The little fucking ISB prick knocked him over and got Sparta kicked.
Yeah.
That shit was hilarious.
Had to stop the message after Marva said,
it was getting...
Yeah.
Fuck the Empire.
Yeah, but it was enough. She said
There's
enough.
a lot of Sparta kicks. The guy got Sparta kicked off the tower.
Oh, that was so good. How you gonna sneak up on a guy fucking just like gangsterly hammering a fucking anvil and then not think you're gonna get kicked off of it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so Karn and the sergeant went back on Ferrix, and this spells disaster automatically for the ISB. My first thought was, okay, they all about to die. When the bombs went off and they showed Karn, I was like, yep, told you. You got to keep that motherfucker away from any tactical shit that you're trying to do because he's just going to ruin it just by being there.
We got to talk about him.
How? You were in trouble.
Karn and Dedra are not a thing. Like, stop this shit already.
I'm glad
Karn is a curse. Get him out of here, please.
Well, I'm glad you said it because...
She was in shock.
Well,
yeah, she was.
She thought she was about to die.
She probably, it seems like she never has seen like combat or something, even though she was like a cop.
An officer usually probably went to school, went to an academy or something, came right out, became an officer, never actually did any like front battle time.
It also speaks to the theme of fear, though, because herself and probably most of the people within the Empire suppress their fear to flex authority. So this was a moment of her like releasing that fear because she was literally about to get fucking trampled until her fucking simp came in and got her. But I'm glad you mentioned that, Marvin, because Dusty said it a couple episodes ago about them being in love or him being in love with her. Everybody like brings them up as if it's like a thing and he's in love with her.
Well, he has an infatuation. I don't
Some kind of infatuation.
But that's what it is. I think everybody's misunderstanding it and seeing it as like a love thing. There's no basis for him to love her. He doesn't know her like that. I think he's infatuated with her in her position.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is, because she's in the position that he wanted to be in. That's why he was so fucking overzealous.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't because we know from seeing his character arc that, you know, in the first couple episodes, you think he's just like RoboCop, like, oh, I'm a fucking good cop and I care about the law and this, that, the other thing. It's not because of that.
Well, he was just a fucking security guard.
But it's because his mom fucking bitched at him his whole life and made him feel like shit. Of like, oh, you could have made something of yourself. You could have made something of yourself.
Yeah.
So that's why he wants to fucking do all this shit. That's why he's infatuated with her. Not because he fucking loves her. All you people talking about that, like, what are you saying? It doesn't even make sense. Makes no sense. There's no basis for it. They've said like 15 words to each other in total. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Get over that.
But the show does a good job of like making her confused with it too. Like she kind of thinks he's like a little bit weird because of how infatuated he is with her.
Right. And then clearly he saves her and now she sees him as an ally. Or you would think that she would.
Right.
Dragging her ass out of this fucking mob. During this funeral, they circled back to something we talked about in the first episode when Marva talked about the sound of the fucking banging of the pots and pans and shit. And we knew what it was, but we never really saw it play out. There was like that little bit of a fucking escalation in that episode, but it was mainly motivated by the security force and Luthen and Cassian. But the fucking banging of the anvil is like the bigger version of the banging of the pots and pans, which is like, get ready for war.
It's the real signal.
Yeah. So we find out finally what that signal stands for, and it's unity and solidarity and, you know, all that good stuff that we saw play out when, you know, that dumb ISB motherfucker had the audacity during a funeral of all things to fucking cover the fucking the hologram, and they were all just like, oh no. And another more subtle callback was Willman. The episode opens up with this kid who we've seen before in just the background. He was working with the fucking like welder guy and all that stuff. But in this episode, he's building a bomb.
Right.
That we see him use, but he was doing it for vengeance because his mentor was the guy that got fucking killed back in one of the first episodes.
Yep.
So this was his vengeance. So Marv is out here fucking just sparking everybody.
Yeah, for real.
And again, another callback. We get that word climb. Cassian, that seems to be Cassian's theme. He climbed out of fucking prison. He climbed up the fucking cliff. He was told to climb in Rogue One in the data center. He told them to climb out of the asteroid field, and then he just told them
to climb.
Nemec told him to climb out of the asteroid field. Yeah, and then in this episode, you know, he says once you hit the water, climb.
Climb, yeah.
So that climb is a reoccurring theme for our boy. My man's always climbing. ABC, baby, always be climbing.
Always be climbing.
We don't really get to see the outcome of it, like who won the battle. And I don't want to say this because, you know, everything was so fucking, you know, empowering for the people of Ferrix, but my guess would be that the Empire won that battle. Yeah.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
Like, you know, they got death troopers there. They got fucking all sorts of crazy shit going on. They're going to call him back up. They ain't going to let that shit slide.
Not a second time.
Well, yeah, it'll be a massacre, and that's really what's gonna get all the other like little rebellions everywhere are gonna see that and be like, well, we need to go here and help these motherfuckers because it's really bad there.
Yep.
And that's where you get like the convergence of the Rebel Alliance.
Post-credit scene, we get this shot of some little droids working on some shit. As the camera starts to pan out, well, what are they working on? Of course, the laser death ray of the Death Star.
The dish, yeah.
But as it turns out, as we expected, the prison that he was in was making the components that the droids were attaching to the dish. And in a crazy fucking turn of irony, Cassian helped build the fucking thing that would eventually kill him. So how fucking dark is that shit?
That is fucking crazy.
So, you know, in the darkness, a little hope shines through, but there's always the darkness there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a really good way to convey that theme. But what was also really cool, too, is we know from Rogue One that the Death Star was delayed. The construction was delayed. Well, now we know it was delayed because the prison where they were making their fucking shit had a fucking riot and lost all their manpower.
Wow. Yeah.
Just so good. So good.
Brilliant.
All right.
Really.
Suck its dick a little, Marvin. What we got? What do you got to say? Anything I missed? Anything you got to touch on?
Nothing important. I took a screenshot.
Oh, what was the screenshot? You got those shifty eyes.
We gotta rate this guy's beard.
Oh yeah.
Right quick. I'm gonna put the picture in the chat.
Yeah, I'll put it up on the video.
And you can put it in the video, yeah. Because this guy had a crazy beard.
Is it Dusty? Oh shit. Oh man, that's
pretty crazy beard.
That puts you to shame, Dusty. I'm sorry to say.
He was in the marching band or something like that.
Could be.
He was marching with them.
Yeah, you keep it tied up neatly. I didn't even notice this fucking guy. How the fuck did you notice that? And how did I not notice
How could you not notice this guy?
Yeah, I don't know. I missed that shit. Yeah, that guy's not fucking around. That dude killed some stormtroopers that day. I'll tell you what.
For sure.
100%.
He was ripping heads off. Easy.
So what was your favorite part of the episode? There's a lot of moments, so I know it's going to be tough, but that was definitely for me Marva's speech. Yeah.
Marva's speech. I mean.
Yeah, you don't beat that
so
shit.
Good.
Yeah. She was a woman who was sick of it.
I did like the way, I know we talked about it a little bit, how Luthen and Cassian are going to sort out their differences because Luthen wants him dead. And I like the way they sorted it out where
Yeah.
we thought, we talked about how, well, maybe, they, whatever. We never really talked about Cassian going to Luthen and saying, kill me or recruit me. Like that was not on the table. And so I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, it's a baller move. I respect it.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you say they're differences because there really weren't differences. Like Luthen didn't have any personal vendetta against him. He just felt it would have been the best foot forward towards his goals. Like we used this guy to do what we wanted to do, but he's expendable. That's why I recruited him, is because he's expendable. Now we get rid of him. So there was never really any personal beef there. So, it was great to see Luthen realize, I mean, he kind of knew from the get-go, but still didn't care how valuable he could be in the long run.
Right.
Now he realizes like, oh shit, this motherfucker means business.
Yeah. But you can't make somebody be down. So
No, you can't.
Until he realized that he was really down for the cause. That's why he was wanting to kill him.
Well, because he wasn't down for the cause when, back then when he recruited him, he was just down to get some money so he could go do whatever he wanted to do. And Luthen's not in a position to be able to leave witnesses behind or leave people that could hold shit over his head or blackmail him or any of that stuff, come back to bite him in the ass. Can't say it enough.
A lot of stuff, man.
Amazing show.
Good.
Amazing finale to the season.
Yep.
While I was once annoyed that we were getting a second season, now I am glad. I don't feel like it's a way to milk it. I feel like Tony Gilroy has legitimately
he's got a plan.
Good stuff that he wants to show for this story.
Yeah.
And, fuck all you Star Wars nerds that were like baby raging about this show. This isn't Star Wars. This isn't Star Wars. Star Wars was literally fucking born in the story of rebellion.
Right.
It's obviously it's a backdrop to the story of like the Skywalker saga and stuff like that. But you wouldn't have a Skywalker saga if it wasn't for these motherfuckers who started this shit to begin with.
That's right.
Luke would still be fucking farming moisture. Like, this shit wouldn't be happening. Luke was all inspired to fucking go hang out with Ben Solo. Barely inspired to go hang out with Ben Solo because he had heard rumors of the rebellion going around. So, like, all that, everything that happened, Luke becoming the fucking Grand Master of the Jedi, most powerful Jedi the world has ever known, like, that all starts with what we're seeing right here take place. You don't get much better than that. So if you're a diehard Star Wars purist and maybe you haven't watched the show out of like your own act of rebellion, go watch it because it only props up that story and makes that even better and more meaningful.
It really does. Yeah.
I have spoken.
Again, I thought it was good. It was a bit of a roller coaster for me, the way they told it, but I'm really looking forward to season 2.
Right.
So, I think it'll be a lot better than the first.
Good. I'm glad you came around in the end.
I really enjoyed this first season that we got of Andor. If this isn't Star Wars, then I don't want Star Wars anymore.
This is what Star Wars needs to be going forward.
Yeah.
Take note, everyone else, because, again, I said it in the beginning, the bar is set very high, and this proves that you could tell very strong stories within this universe independent of the big picture stuff. That's an area where Obi-Wan failed, where Book of Boba Fett failed. It's something that Mandalorian does pretty well, I would say, but this has done it like far and beyond the best so far. So
yeah, I mean, what's the point of having all this lore and all this crazy shit?
Right.
And if we only get to see the story of the main couple of guys over and over, and references to those couple of guys over and over. What's the point of all this other shit? Just so we can read it in the wiki?
I actually want to know how all the Bothans. I want to know how all the Bothans died to get the data to destroy the second Death Star.
Yeah, that's a good point.
A statement from Mon Mothma, and she's like, many Bothans died to get this, and the Bothans are like, they're like the intelligent species in the universe. Like they know everything. And that's how they get along because they know all your fucking secrets. So,
right.
What happened to them after the secret got out?
Right.
I want to hear that story. Let's hear it.
Yeah. I mean, again, there's just a ton of stories that they could tell. Marvin, that was hilarious. What's the point of all this shit? So we could read it in a wiki. But
I'm saying, like,
that's a great point. And, you know, I remember saying this after like the first episode, or maybe the second one. This show made the universe of Star Wars feel so much bigger.
yes.
Because it was always so localized to these like singular group of people doing this very like singular thing. This is like this just opened up. They made it a galaxy. It's oh shit! Like it really felt big. Not only in like thematically and stuff, but just the way they shot it too. A lot of the other Star Wars shows are filmed on those like new versions of green screens where they're projecting the scenery for the actors. This was all just like intricate sets and stuff like that, so it just feels so much more real and tangible. Yeah, really great. Everything about it, unbelievable. Watch it if you haven't, folks. If you have watched it, let us know in the comments what you thought of the finale of Andor. We covered the whole series, and we cover a lot of other stuff on our YouTube channel, so subscribe if you have not done so already, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See ya.
Asta.